Well, joining us now to analyze the Economic Community of West African States, that's ECOWAS announcement of a 260,000 strong rapid deployment counterterrorism force requiring $2.5 billion annually. Well, we have Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, retired. He's a former spokesman of the Nigerian Army. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Let me start, yes, listening to that interview with, Ferdinand Roha, that exclusive with the Christopher Musa and, of course, Leo Irabo. There's something that came up in that conversation that seems to echo what Ibrahim Gambari, former External Affairs Minister, said, that first, secure your individual nations before securing the region and the continent at large. He also went ahead to say, look, African nations must strengthen defense industries and own their technologies to effectively address the security threats. Let's start on that leg as we assess this plan to, come up with this 260,000 strong rapid deployment counterterrorism.
I think it's laudable and a welcome development. However, realistically, it seems to be over-ambitious. Given the extraneous variables involved, cost implication, and let's even look at it from the perspective that what is the total strength of the armed forces of the various contributing countries? And to a large extent, with due respect to most of them, I think they are over-relying on Nigeria. And if you look at it, the military is deployed in almost, do I say, 36 states of the Federation involved in counter-insurgency and internal security operations. And if we will even look at the question of the ECOWAS standby force, which was supposed to be 2,000, it was predicated on the understanding that it is not concentrated in a particular place. Rather, individual countries will have designated number of officers and soldiers that they will train, and whenever the need arises, they will mobilize and do the needful. But I can understand why they are so concerned about having it, because of the fact that, yes, in those days, ECOMOX did marvelously well. Therefore, I think we ought to build on that development. But realistically, when I talked about cost, I talked about the relative human resources available and the logistics. And in any case, look at it. With due respect to all of them in the West Africa, including those that exited the ECOWAS, nobody has the air capability like Nigeria to lift troops, because the mainstay power, especially in the ECOMOG days, was the Nigerian Air Force. And of course, even we have seen it when the ECOWAS mobilized to oust Yahya Jammeh. They rely on Nigeria, and to a large extent, the Nigerian Air Force, through lifting capability. Now, the second issue is that, and I'm so happy that, the renewed focus is more or less like what we're talking about, consuming what you produce. Now, do we have the capacity to produce the needed, arms and ammunition, even though there is a renewed effort, to reposition the DICON in Nigeria? But beyond South Africa and Egypt, which other African countries, to a large extent, is self-sustaining in terms of arms and ammunition? And I think I will not call it misplaced priority. It's a good one, but it's ambitious. But I think the focus should have been, what are the drivers? What are the triggers? What are the drivers that brought about this insecurity that we are talking about?
Great, because coming out of this summit, we are hearing strong sound bites. And just to lead you to what we're about to talk about, the Sahel sub-region, they say at this summit, accounted for 51% of global terrorism related deaths in 2024 alone. So my question to you is, how come, or how did the Sahel become the epicenter of global terrorism?
I'm coming to that.
Yes.
Like I was saying, I was talking about, drivers and triggers to all the security challenges. And let me tell you, any security challenge in any given nation is predicated on these three things. You know, the political atmosphere, the economic and the social, you know, cohesion within that society. So basically, the non-state actors that we are dealing with, they are always coming in to fill a vacuum. And so the long and short of it is question of good governance. Yeah. So instead of addressing, I think we should address, you know, the root causes of all these issues, which to a large extent hinge on issue of good governance or otherwise. And one worrisome thing is that now there is this fifth generation warfare, in the sense that a country may not even come and invade you, so to speak, but they will create conditions that you find it very difficult, you know, to live in peace and harmony. And we are seeing it, you know, creating conflicts here and there. Of course, they naturally, they own the arms and ammunition. You go there to go and buy. Of course, the CDS has just told you that it is not even difficult. I mean, it is difficult to get those arms and ammunition with even your money. Yeah. So you become so, you know, desperate and all the rest of the thing. And now with the global happenings, look at what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, and of course Israel, Hamas, and the rest of them, or Iran and the rest. But most importantly, we are looking at the wrong directions in respect of this complex situation. We have seen that even Boko Haram is evolving new tactics. Where do they get it? Because they are in global alliance with these non-state actors, that they are being trained. They are being funded by other countries that are fighting proxy wars. And we have seen it in the Sahel. And that answers the question to the fact that some of them, they have involved foreign armies, so to speak, that are involved in fighting among themselves elsewhere. And the other adversaries are using them to evolve new tactics and new strategies, aided and abetted by the fifth columnists within the system. Yeah. So they smile home with the profit they are making, because the concept of war economy is real, and you are here grappling with issues. So I think, so much as this is a laudable idea, I think we should pay attention to this issue, and we should also pay attention to the issue of good governance, because it is the sure banker receive to all the security challenges that we're having. We have had instances. Take for instance what happened in Katsina State, the Gidan Mantau. Look at what are the things that are available to those people. So these are the issues. It's just one. And several other African countries are not even better off than Nigeria. So basically these are the issues. It is a good thing, but I think we should be realistic. And most importantly, we are talking even about funding and all the rest. The ECOWAS standby post. Realistically, every soldier that is earmarked for that, ideally, he or she is supposed to be earning $240 per day. So you multiply that amount of money. We are just talking about sustenance. We are not talking about weapons. We are not talking about logistics. We are not even talking about when an issue arises that we need to mobilize them. Do the other member countries have the capability to mobilize? Do they even have the number? So these are the issues. So yes, I have seen that the funding will come from, you know, partners and all the rest, but you know it, in international politics, geopolitics, rather, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. These guys will never give you aid or any support without also, you know, pressing home some of their own interests.
There's no free lunch in Freetown.
Yes, even in Freetown. Yes. You have been to Freetown, so of course. So basically, these are the issues. Yeah. It's a good thing, but it will enhance synergy. The military understood themselves better. And most importantly, we have to also look at, you know, the history of some of this military. I'm not praising our own Nigerian military, but simply because the British that colonized us, their system and the level of relationship is different. We were independent, and that is why I think most of us were not using right-hand drive and all the rest. We are independent-minded, but they were discouraged. Take, for instance, the Prince Frankfurt, to have a strong military, you know, relying on their colonial masters, the France. Indeed. So, and of course, they realized Operation Barkhane is not giving them the desired distance. So they are busy trying to recalibrate and reposition their military. Now you are coming with this kind of demand and all the rest. So you have to factor all these things together to see how. And most importantly, training a soldier. Yes, a recruit 6 months, but realistically for a soldier, it will take you years so that you will have a professional soldier.
Wish we had all day to actually address
you have a lot of most important points.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And
we'll have to say thank you very much.
We tend to heavily rely on the military. And of course, a lot is being done in terms of training, jointly at the National Defense College, at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, and all the rest of them. In fact, they have about, among the allied countries, we have almost 40 other nationals, studying in Nigeria. So they understand themselves better. I can understand it will really build on all those things.
Okay, we have to say thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Over 1,000 insurgent groups in Africa. And like you've said, the solution is good governance, whether you're talking about politics, economy, and social governance is very, very important. Thank you so much. SK Usman, Brigadier General, retired, joining us on Newsnight.